obviously the STRV actually is a pretty decent player, and he relocated, he got into a good position, and yeah, then spotted and took out the BZ. Now he's going after the Kunzepanzer. I properly aim, and then fire, and managed to get a big shot into the STRV. Decide at this point that the best thing that I can do is actually try and make him come towards me. Hope for the best and try and start capping to put a bit of pressure on the STRV. At this point I'm just staying still like a little mouse, although this is a big boy mouse. Trees, going back. I got spotted. It's not the best sentiment ever. Now I can't really reverse too effectively, and I do get the information that he's firing from the front, so I do need to fall back. I'm really not feeling it. I'm really not feeling it at all. And then I do see him over here. I start aiming, but the long aim time doesn't do me any favors. So now it's 1-on-1. It's sudden death. So there's only 23 seconds left, and yeah, it's pretty intense. It's a pretty intense game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm figuring. Hey guys, today I'm gonna bring you a battle in the American Tier 9 tank destroyer. This is the T30, and it's the tank with the big boy gun in the American T30 line at Tier 9. This tank does have a 750 alpha damage gun. And it also has, as opposed to the T95, the Doom Turtle, this tank has a fully traversable turret. Now this is actually an older tank, and I think at some point it was at Tier 10, and then it got demoted to Tier 9. I don't remember 100%, but I think this was the case. And this is one of the oldest tanks in the game, and basically the hull is the hull of a T29, which yeah, isn't that great even at Tier 7. So it's not gonna bounce any kind of shots at Tier 9. However, you do have a pretty strong turret, although you do have a big weak point on top, and your gun does have 275 penetration, which is absolutely amazing at any tire. And this is going to allow you to actually penetrate quite reliably enemy tanks from the front, even super heavy ones. Although you need to take into account that the shell velocity isn't the greatest. You have only 870, which isn't too great, and your APCR is around 1100, which is okay, but is not necessarily the best in class. Also, with the APCR, your penetration goes to 320 if you need to shoot anyone really fast. Although at longer ranges you need to take into account that penetration will drop to around 280, which isn't great. The high explosive might be an option to actually finish up wounded tanks, because you do have 90 meters of HE. Now that HE is nerfed, but it's still gonna be decent enough. Now this tank, being an older type of tank, it does have a kind of like I said, a weak hull, and you need to be pretty careful about the positions that you're gonna get yourself into, because you might have some issues with this. Now at the beginning of the game I do go into this position over here, which is one of the positions in which I only expose my turret and nothing else. Try and see what's around here, but I can't really advance. Unfortunately, when I was trying to move around and do some all the fancy stuff that you're seeing me doing, I let slip a golden opportunity of firing at the 45 TP. Not my brightest moment. Still, I realized that I need to be a little bit more patient. So yeah, for now the only thing that I'm doing is just wait until the game develops a little bit. So this is kind of what you should be doing in your T30s. Don't really get exposed, at least at the beginning of the game, because this tank can't really take a joke. Now, the other things about the tank is that the aim time isn't great as well. For a Tier 9 tank, it's okay, but it isn't the best in class. And also, The mobility isn't also great because the hull, like I said, is from a T29, and it goes to around 30-35 kilometers per hour, which isn't all that great, and the turning speed is also pretty bad. So it's not the worst, but it's not the best. However, the one advantage that you do have in this tank destroyer is that you can play it as a heavy tank with a really strong turret, because it does have the fully traversable turret, which does help quite a bit. And a lot of people, whenever you're top tier, are going to be afraid of your big alpha damage gun. I have played this tank with the stock gun as well, which has 248 millimeters of penetration and 400 alpha. That's a pretty reliable and good gun, and it also reloads around 8 seconds as opposed to this one, so it does have some better DPM. However, enemies are not going to be afraid of you, and if you fire with that tank, you'll need to expose yourself a lot more. Now I do see this T54D, and yeah, I do manage to slap him in his side. One thing I would caution you: don't ever withdraw too much with this tank, because it's pretty slow, and if the enemy comes and slaps you and then you get down, and I finish this guy, and yeah, if the enemy does end up coming towards you, fire towards you, and then run away, you're not going to be able to catch him very easily. So you need to, if you are close to a corner, then you need to try to be as close as possible to that corner without exposing yourself. That will bring you, or give you, the best chance of actually getting the damage done, right? And not taking too much into now I do aim a little bit on the 45 TP. I did saw him aim towards me. Unfortunately, I did decide to fire before I was fully aimed, so now you're seeing the not all that great accuracy of this gun if you don't properly aim. You should properly aim each time, because you do take 20 seconds to reload with this tank, which does suck quite a bit. So yeah, the T30 isn't the best tank in the world of tanks. No, not by a long shot. However, it can be pretty fun when you're using the big gun. And another shot that just goes down, because again, I was trying to get myself aiming or firing before the guy was killed by our teammates, or before he managed to go behind the corner. I'm trying to go after the Emil. Unfortunately, like I said, this isn't the greatest or the fastest tank in World of Tanks. As you see, it's around 30, 32, 33 kilometers per hour on hard surfaces, and on low or on sand or something like that, it's going to be even slower. So now I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to get the Emil too, and I do fire at his tracks. I overmatched tracks, and then yeah, I do manage to take him out. So 2 kills, 1.7k damage, not that great. The score is even 8-8, so it's a pretty tense game, but we are down on HP. And now I properly aim the shots, and unfortunately I ricochet. So sometimes you're gonna see that against the Cheeto, which is a Tier 7 TD, not even 276 millimeters of penetration are gonna be quite enough to take them out. So that's one thing you should be careful about. I do try and figure out if I can get a shot in the Borask. Unfortunately, the poor aim time of the tank is again a factor of this, and also that the dispersion seems to be not that great on the tank. So another shot that didn't went exactly where I aimed it, because I didn't fully aim the shot. So yeah, those are the things that are not that great about the tank, although they are compensated by the high alpha damage of the tank. Like you just saw, 740, and I took out the Borask. And this was one of the rare occasions when almost snapshotting was actually a good thing about the tank, and I actually managed to take out the Borask. So The game is pretty close still. It's 12 to 11 for us, and I do need to make sure that I take out the Govica, the new line which was introduced, and that was yeah, the tire 7 TD. Now I'm actually switching to HE because although I was reloading some AP round, I did think about actually finishing up the 80-15 because he was on so low HP that yeah, it's just a formality if I manage to hit him. And of course that was a good shot in. I do have a Kunzepanzer and also a BZ58 over here, and everyone is going to try and figure out where the STRV is, and we're gonna try and yeah, take him out. Now the STRV was, yeah, it's actually managing to take out the BZ58. Yeah, that was a bit unexpected because there was a guy saying that he was nearing the cap or near the cap circle trying to spot from over there, but obviously the STRV actually is a pretty decent player, and he relocated, he got into a good position, and yeah, then spotted and took out the BZ. Now he's going after the Kunzepanzer. I properly aim and then fire and managed to get a big shot into the STRV, but unfortunately he did manage to take out the Kunzepanzer. This is a pretty awkward position because now the STRV is running away, and I'm not fast enough to actually catch him, so this presents me with a dilemma. What do I do now? Do I go after him, or do I try and I don't know, figure out from what area he might come, because he does have the advantage of the camo as opposed to me, and yeah, he's a sneaky bastard, and he does have a pretty impressive penetration, 300. So he's gonna go through my whole armor like through cheese, basically, like with a cheese grater. And yeah, I do decide at this point that the best thing that I can do is actually try and make him come towards me, because if he goes into my cap and he starts capping, it's gonna be pretty hard for me to, with my 35, let's say, kph per hour, to get into a good position and actually manage to get him. So I do decide that at this point it might be a bit risky, but there's a rock formation, or I don't know, discarded hulls of tanks, of Hetzers in the cap circle, so I do intend to get on this position and hope for the best and try and start capping to put a bit of pressure on the STRV, maybe goad him into making a mistake or another. It's not the best position on the map. It's a pretty small area, and I'm gonna be probably pretty easily spotted, but it's the best that I can I thought at this moment. So I'm at 5 kills. I do want to get my 6th, and I do want to win. So at this point I'm just staying still like a little mouse, although this is a big boy mouse, and yeah, I'm just gonna bide my time. So it's a pretty tense moment because I really don't know where the STRV might be. I take a few looks if there's any kind of trees going back. I got spotted. It's not the best sentiment ever. Now I can't reverse too effectively, and I do get the information that he's firing from the front, so I do need to fall back. I get lucky a little bit over here. His second shot fires in one of the holes of the Hetzers, and then I need to repair my driver, because he actually managed to take out my driver, which isn't the greatest thing ever. Let me tell you about that. So this thing, I'm really not feeling it. I'm really not feeling it at all. But the one thing that I can do is try and see if he's gonna be in making any mistake by trying to come a little bit closer. because a lot of times people, even in their good tanks, are tempted to get a bit more fancy than they should, right? You're in a really sneaky tank, keep your distance, activate your binos, maybe go on the hill below a bush, and then you can absolutely wreck me. Although he is under the pressure of time, he only has 1 minute and 25, and then I do see him over here. I start aiming, but the long aim time doesn't do me any favors, and at this point I'm okay, you're gonna kill me. I'm just trying to wiggle it a little bit. Fortunately, he does manage to fluff his shot, and now he's pretty scared because I might have the tank reloaded, although I do have this really long reload time, and he doesn't want to get killed when he's done all the hard work. Now it's just finishing me up. So now it's 1-on-1, it's sudden death. He does have, I think, even with his lowest possible roll, he's still gonna kill me if he punishes me. So yeah, it's the game of chicken over here. He's starting to try and spot me. He did spot me over here, but he's not really all that keen on coming towards me. So there's only 23 seconds left, and yeah, it's pretty intense. It's a pretty intense game, I'm not gonna lie. I'm figuring out where he is, and then I managed to get him. He did try and switch between modes. He got a bit more fancy than he should have, and at this point I'm just enjoying my win. So pretty good good game in the T30, and as you can see, this tank, or in a tank destroyer, even as weak, with the hull as weak as this one, you can still have some good games, some pretty intense games as well, and yeah, have some good results, and you can enjoy a well-deserved win, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, I think I did enough in this game to actually secure the win. It was close, but it was the best I could do, and it was enough at this point. That being said, let's go to the final game stats, and then we'll wrap up the video. So this game was good enough for a Mastery Badge Class 1 with a Top Gun and 3.7k damage done. Managed to win the battle, so I'm pretty happy about it. And I think it was a pretty enjoyable battle in the end. Didn't make any kind of profit, and the XP wasn't the greatest. Still, it was a game that I thoroughly enjoyed, and at the end of the day, you should really try and enjoy your games in World of Tanks. Otherwise, it doesn't make too much sense to actually play the game. So, yeah, that being said, thanks a lot, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.